Everybody, here are the changes coming to the fighter class in 1DnD's release in September 2024. That way you don't need to watch a 30-minute video to see what those changes are. I'll just give you the details right now. So generally speaking, what's the approach is they want to add more flexibility to the fighter class. So they likened it to how the wizard is the most flexible utilitarian of the spellcasting classes. They want fighter to be the utilitarian class of the martial classes. So how's this flexibility being baked in? Well, there's two key ways. One of them is weapon mastery. Essentially, that's bestowing a negative condition on an opponent based on a weapon that you're using. A weapon will bring a certain weapon mastery property. Now, for those of you that are kind of old like me, this isn't entirely new. This has been done before. So if you've ever played first edition AD&D, they actually had optional rules called Weapon Mastery, which essentially kind of did the same thing. If you played 3.5, Player's Handbook 2 had something kind of along the same lines with the weapon supremacy and melee mastery and all that. If you've played Pathfinder, especially the second edition, they've also kind of done something similar with critical specialization. Anyway, so not entirely new, but it is kind of cool. It does add some additional options, but more importantly, it also potentially gives other reasons to use other weapons, because many times kind of the same thing gets used over and over again. So this could make it more interesting. The second way is they're adding 3 new class features, each with the word tactical in front of it. So level 2, you get Tactical Mind, that if you fail an ability check, you get to burn a use of second winds. You're going to get more second winds. It's going to be a resource pool. And then you can roll dice and add that to the check to then see if you would otherwise succeed. So then at level 5, you get Tactical Shift. If you use a second wind to heal, you can then also move up to half your movement speed without provoking attacks of opportunity. Kind of cool. It's a good way to withdraw if you're healing. It's probably because you've taken a bunch of damage, or if you really need to get to somebody else who's not doing so well. Then at level 9, you get Tactical Master. Again, kind of going back to this weapon mastery thing where you will always have 3 weapon mastery properties up your sleeve no matter what weapon you're using to replace it. So you can, let me check my notes. You will always have Push, Sap, and Slow. So regardless of what you're using, you can replace that property with one of these. Level 13 comes in with Studied Attacks, which is actually decently potent. When you swing and miss, you can use this and get advantage on your next swing. So now onto the fighter subclasses. We'll start with Battle Master. So they brought in 4 maneuvers that featured in Tasha's. They brought them in there. I gotta check my notes. Ambush, Bait and Switch, Commanding Presence, and Tactical Assessment. Those are all now coming as part of core. Student of War has been slightly tweaked where when you get that, you're going to be able to then choose another skill proficiency from the fighter proficiency list. And then the last one is they completely redid Know Your Enemy. So now you're going to be able to get to know your foes' weaknesses and resistances. So, I mean, assuming, your players actually don't know or they're really good at not metagaming, it's decently useful. I think it's interesting. But, for those players that kind of know and happen to use all the right stuff, well, maybe not as useful. Next subclass, we have the Champion, which in my opinion probably got the most buffs out of every subclass so far. First of all, they redid Remarkable Athlete, so you can roll with advantage athletic checks. You can also roll with advantage initiative checks, which is actually pretty cool. But probably the biggest one is when you score a crit, you can then also move without provoking attacks of opportunity to reposition for the next killing blow. Next, at level 10, you get Heroic Warrior, which essentially is at the beginning of your turn in combat. If you don't already have a point of Heroic Inspiration, you get it. Which means every turn you can burn a Heroic Inspiration. So if you don't know, it's a little bit different from Inspiration in 5th, in which you can reroll any dice. So that's actually pretty awesome. And at level 18, you get Survivor, which lets you roll with advantage your death saving throws, and you can essentially crit that save if you roll an 18, a 19, or 20, getting you back up to 1 hit point. So with Eldritch Knight, again, 3 kind of core changes. Number 1, no spell school restriction, kind of cool. You can use an arcane focus as well. And they redid War Magic and improved War Magic. Instead of it requiring a bonus action, now you simply sack an attack, and you can then do a cantrip. And with the improved, you can do then, if you sack 2 attacks, cast them first level or second level. So there is a 4th subclass, Psy Warrior. You might remember that from Tasha's. Tasha's is referenced a lot in these videos. And not really anything has changed. It's now just making it part of core, and they've just rephrased it to make sure that it jives with the new rule set. So that's it. That's all the changes coming to Fighter. Let me know if you like this new format. I'm happy to kind of give you the quick TLDR on all the classes coming up and all the other material coming up from now until September. So until then, happy gaming.